Hey guys, what's good? Welcome to my British boy reacts to 21 things in the US that puzzles most foreigners. Um, I've seen a bunch of videos going around and I enjoy quite a lot of them that are Americans reacting to stuff that British do that's different. So I thought, why not kind of put that on its head and make it 21 things that the US does different. So yeah, hope you enjoy.
You may have lived in the United States your whole life without realizing that something totally normal for you seems bizarre to people from other parts of the world. Who knew
Never
that
understood
munching
that
on
gap.
fried pickles in a highly air-conditioned room was so outlandish? Well,
Excuse me.
here are some other highly entertaining Americanisms I've gathered. Let's count it down from number 21. Sales tax is a guessing game. When you go shopping in the U.S. and see a price tag that says $14.88, don't expect to pay $14.88 at the register. Sales tax is not included in the price of an item. And since this tax can vary from state to state, figuring out your total can turn into the ultimate mental math challenge. In many European countries, the sales tax is already included in the price. It's known as a value-added tax, or VAT. Number 20.
Okay, yeah, in the UK, it's added before we buy stuff so we know what we're getting. Like, imagine I go to the shop with, say, £2 or $2, and I buy something that says it's £2 or $2. In the UK, I'd get it, but in the US, I wouldn't. Is that how it works? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why would you not just add it onto the price tag? It makes so much more sense that way.
We're total workaholics. A lot of Americans don't feel the need to take long vacations, so they often let vacation and sick hours pile up without ever using
Holidays
them.
are fun.
Plus, most employers only give you 2 weeks out of the year. But in a lot of other countries, like Brazil or Finland, workers are encouraged to take an average of 30 days of vacay. Wow, maybe I should take some time off, or perhaps I'll just keep waiting.
Yeah, here in the UK, yeah, we have like over a month's leave. We can have as many sick days as we want as long as we prove that we're sick. Basically, if you're dying, then you're not going to get into work, are you? But having holidays in this country is just a thing that we have. It's like it's part of our culture, I guess. We're not very much workaholics as you say you are in America.
19. It's not a party without red Solo cups. In the States, this red plastic cup is synonymous with "party on, dude." But other countries apparently don't recognize this cup to mean the same thing. People in the UK, for example, don't use red Solo cups at get-togethers. They have to go to a special website to purchase the cups for American-themed parties. Who knew? Number 8.
Yeah, here in the UK, we don't have those cards. I've seen in a lot of kind of American films and stuff like that. They have those cups, and I've never been to a party in the UK where I've seen solo cups like that. It's just not something we have over here, I guess.
18. Deep fried everything. Whether it's fried pickles or even fried Oreos, America has it all. Fried fish recipes first appeared in Spanish and Portuguese cookbooks as far back as the 1200s, and the Greeks were frying food in olive oil way back in the 5th century BCE. But as America does with many things, they've adopted a tradition from far-off lands and took it up a notch, or 5. 17.
Yeah, we don't really have much deep fried food in the UK. Like, the only places you'll find deep fried food are in fast food places like McDonald's or Burger King, or in fish and chip shops where you'll find battered fish and battered sausages and stuff like that. Otherwise, we don't really have much deep fried stuff.
Get everything you need right at the pharmacy. If you're not from the U.S., it may be puzzling to walk into a pharmacy and see aisles and aisles of over-the-counter meds, toys, makeup, clothes, and even groceries. Unlike in other countries where pharmacies sell medicine and medical supplies exclusively, the ones in the U.S. are like small convenience stores where you can grab magazines, Tylenol, and a frozen pizza in one fell swoop.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK we do have like our pharmacies and stuff. We do have like we don't really have toys usually, but we might have like we have medicine. We have obviously over the counter medicine like paracetamol, ibuprofen, or stuff like that. We also have like makeup, and maybe you'll have some food or something. I'm not sure. I haven't really been to I haven't really been to many pharmacies, but in the couple I have been to, they do tend to be more like little shops rather than just medicine.
16. Fill her up. In America, if a restaurant doesn't offer free refills on fountain drinks, it's kind of strange. But in other countries, once you buy one beverage, that's it. France banned refills on sugary sodas back in 2017 in order to combat the current obesity epidemic. But in the US, the idea of free refills is still alive and well. 15.
Yeah, here in the UK, we don't offer refills in like anywhere. The only place you'll find free refills is in places like amusement parks and stuff, where you'll buy a special thing that will let you get a refill, but you're not expected to get refills from from everything, you know. It just doesn't really happen. Like, maybe you'll find one or two places that do it, but not really.
15. If you don't like it, return it. Whether it's an ugly sweater from grandma or a heinous pair of earrings from an ex, if you don't like it, you can just return it. In America, making returns at stores is pretty normal and super easy. I mean, the US even has a National Returns Day in January, conveniently held for you to return holiday gifts you weren't too thrilled about. 14.
Yeah, we I do not like the way that 14 has gone. Yeah, in the UK we have returns, but you need to have like a receipt and stuff, which I'm sure you need to have in the US. But it's kind of frowned upon to return things in the UK, I guess. Like, if you get something as a present, then you're expected to keep it. That's why we're mostly hoarders in the UK, I guess.
Tips for everyone. Cab drivers, servers, hairdressers, you gotta tip them. Tips are acceptable for almost any service in the U.S. and sometimes consist of 25% of the bill. We haven't started tipping surgeons yet, but there are places in other parts of the world, such as Japan, that consider tipping incredibly rude, like in restaurants.
I thought you was going to say in places like Japan they tip surgeons.
When you travel to different countries, it's important to learn their tipping etiquette so that you don't offend anyone.
Yeah, it's pretty normal to tip in the UK. We don't tip everyone. It's usually only like restaurant workers and bar staff that we tip. Maybe we'll tip a hairdresser, but I'm not really sure, or a barber, as you said.
13. I'll take my coffee to go. With a Starbucks on every corner, it's very normal to see people toting around a coffee as they shop, commute to work, and whatever else at all times of the day. But in many parts of the world, coffee is meant to be sipped on while seated and enjoying the paper or chatting with friends. Tugging your coffee along with you throughout the day might be due to the fact that the cups are huge and take longer to drink. Who's got that kind of time to be sitting in a cafe for hours? Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, in the UK you don't really see people walking around with coffees as much as you might in the US. I don't have COVID, I promise. Yeah, well, we usually just sit in cafes and stuff to drink our drinks. I'm losing the power of speech. We don't really carry it around as much, I guess, for a matter of convenience, because we tend to carry other stuff. But you won't usually see people walking around with coffees unless you're in somewhere like London, where you'll see a few people maybe.
Number 12. The land of ice-cold drinks. Now, speaking of drinks, if it's not a hot coffee or cocoa, then it's probably got ice in it. Tea, coffee, lemonade, soda, water. Americans like it on the rocks. If you go elsewhere in the world, odds are you'll be sipping your soda at room temperature, or maybe slightly refrigerated if you don't specifically ask for ice. Number.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, it really depends on whether you ask for it. You have to. Usually they give it to you by default, but sometimes you have to ask for it. Me personally, I don't really like having ice in most of my drinks, unless it's like a drink that requires ice. Like, if I have ice in, say, a Coke or something, it kind of melts in the Coke and waters it down. I don't think it tastes as good. That's just my opinion, though.
11. Keeping the AC on at all times. Americans must have an aversion to being hot. In many parts of Europe, people simply don't use air conditioning as much as they do in the States. Here, it's expected to always have the AC blaring, and a lot of visitors find it pretty strange and quite chilly. But come on, it makes sense. If you're cold, you can layer up. If you're hot, all you can do is suffer and complain about it.
Yeah, I mean, here in the UK, we don't really have air conditioning anywhere unless you're in a big city, or a big town. Some places might have air conditioning, I guess. But yeah, if it's hot in the UK, yeah, rarely it is. If it's ever hot in the UK, just suffer, as he said, just suffer.
Number 10. Looking at dollars is a snooze fest. I remember going to Europe for the first time and thinking their banknotes looked like Monopoly money. And I guess a lot of countries have bills of different colors and sizes depending on the value, like Swedish krona and Russian rubles. But not in the US. It's all greenbacks, baby. Sure, 10s look a little yellowy, 50s are kind of pinkish, and Benjamins seem bluer than the others. But still, US dollars definitely aren't as fun and rainbowy as other currencies.
Oh god.
What's your favorite browser extension? Online shop.
Number 9. Giving a thumbs up.
Oh, I mean, yeah, in the UK we have different coloured notes. I get they're slightly boring, but they're different colours and they're different sizes as well, which makes them interesting, I guess. But we don't go up to hundreds; we only go up to £50. And like our £5 is kind of a blue, a £10 is an orange, £20 is I think it's kind of a bluish, and then our £50 is more of a reddish pink, I guess. So yeah, we have different coloured banknotes, but they're not as like separate and different as other countries, I guess.
In America, even little kids know a thumbs up means good job, way to go, or anything positive like that. But if you travel to Greece or the Middle East and give this common American gesture, you probably won't make too many friends. Hey, how about giving this video a thumbs up for the useful tip?
Yeah, this one too.
Nope.
Yeah, in the UK we give thumbs up, we give thumbs ups, and we know what they mean mostly, like we know what they mean from a young age, but we usually express that verbally. We say good job and that sort of thing rather than giving a thumbs up. It's considered like it's a bit strange to just give someone a thumbs up and say good job. You say it in this country normally, I guess.
Number 8. The date writing conundrum. So many visitors to the US get really confused by the month, day, year thing, because most parts of the world write the day, then the month, then finally the year. There's no clear historical reason why the US insists on writing the day differently, but we just do. Number 7.
Yeah, it makes sense to write it day, month, year, doesn't it? So it's like say it was Christmas Day, it would be the 25th of the 12th, let's just use 2020. So it's 25/12/2020, but like it's not the 12th of the 25th 2020. I guess it just doesn't really make sense. Like, I've got nothing against Americans writing it differently, but it just doesn't really make sense in my head.
7. Pre-baby baby showers. Many cultures celebrate a new baby coming into the world, but America is one of the few places that does this before the baby actually gets here. In East Asian countries, for instance, celebrations for a new baby are held once the baby is born, as doing otherwise is seen as bad luck.
Yeah, in the UK, I mean, I guess some of us have adopted pre-baby showers. That is a tongue twister, from the US, but we don't really do it as much as you do over there. We tend to celebrate it more after we have like a party and stuff after the baby's been born, I guess. But pre-baby showers, I cannot get that tongue twister right. We don't really, we don't really have them as much as other countries, I guess. I think I just said that, repeating myself. I'm going insane.
Number 6, where "how are you" means hello. Sure, people ask each other how they're doing in other countries, but Americans often use this phrase as a replacement for hey or hello. It doesn't even require a real response. People just answer with fine thanks, even if they're in a horrible mood or had a terrible day. Number 5.
Yeah, in the UK we don't really say hey, how are you or anything like that. We say we say you right, mate, you right, or we just say you right, or I guess we might say how are you sometimes. But if you say how are you, it kind of means it kind of is actually the question of how are you. It requires like say asking and saying actually how you are. Whereas if you just say you're right or how you doing, it kind of means hello. I guess it's kind of different in that way.
5. Bathroom stalls that aren't so private. Don't like doing your business in front of complete strangers? Americans don't either, of course. But the fact that bathroom stall doors often reveal as much as your entire lower leg seems to say otherwise. There's no clear reason as to why there's this big gap in public bathroom stalls here. But many guess it's for safety reasons or ventilation. Just saying. Number 4.
Yeah, I mean, UK, you if you go into a bathroom or a restroom, you kind of have the door cover the entire doorway, I guess, or there won't be really many gaps. I mean, they're not very well made, so there'll be gaps at the side, but not intentionally, I guess. Having gaps under the doors has been adopted by some schools, and for instance, in my old school, we had doors like that, so I'd always wait till I got home because the school toilets were always terrible.
4. No one uses their inside voice. A lot of my friends who are visiting or moved to the U.S. tell me that locals speak so loud compared to other countries. Whether it's talking on your cell phone or chatting with a friend over lunch, Americans seem to really like projecting their voice. I don't know. Maybe we just want to make sure we're heard. Number
Yeah, in the UK, if you're really loud and kind of if you project your voice too much, if you project your voice too much, then you're kind of seen as obnoxious or kind of overly zealous or overly loud, and it's kind of frowned upon. It's not really something you do in this country, I guess.
3. It's all about choices. Walk into any grocery store aisle and you'll notice at least 10 different options for cookies, crackers, or cereal. People in the UK don't have these many options for food, and you'll almost never find anything in grape flavor there. Number 2.
Yeah, I guess in the UK we have a lot of choices for cereal and chocolate and stuff. But when it comes to stuff that's grape flavor, I don't think I've ever seen or tried anything that's grape flavor. I think I've tried something, but I don't think I've ever seen anything in a supermarket that's been grape flavor. I think someone brought something over from the US when I tried it actually.
Hopping into the back seat of a cab. When getting into a cab, it's customary in the States to scoot on into the back seat. But in countries like New Zealand and Australia, riding anywhere but shotgun can be a little rude. Number 1.
Yeah, in the UK, if you're a party, if you have more than like one or two people, if you have more than one person, I mean, you'll go in the back. But in most cases, you'll sit in the front because you tend to chat with the driver more and talk to them. I guess it's more of a social thing going a taxi, and you don't really get taxis in the UK. Well, you do, but you tend not to use them as much unless you're in some larger towns like, say, Liverpool, Birmingham, London, that sort of thing. Birmingham. Like for instance, London has its own black cab service, its own taxi service, and in those you'll usually get in the back. But for other places, when you have yellow taxis, you'll tend to get in the front more.
That classic American smile. In the U.S., people aren't afraid to be nice and show their pearly whites all the time. And according to a 2015 study at Brown University, because America has always been a very diverse country, it forced people to smile at each other more since they couldn't always communicate with language. That's just one more historical theory as to why Americans tend to smile more than people in other places do. Or maybe we're just, friendlier. Whether you're from the U.S. or not.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, we tend to smile at each other. Like, people will be walking around with kind of a sad look on their face, a down look on their face, but usually it's not because they're sad or angry. It's usually just because that's how they're brought up. But if you just smile at someone, they usually smile back, are kind of friendly and that. But we don't walk around smiling all the time. I guess for someone to smile at you, you kind of have to smile at them, or vice versa. I guess that's when we're different, I guess.
Can you add any more strange?
Well, almost fell out my chair then. Well, yeah, I guess that does it for this British Spy Reacts to American things America does differently. I've lost the power of speech from this video, I'm sorry. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and possibly subscribe if you want to see me do more reactions and possibly play some games or something. I'm not sure. It really depends on how much of a potato my computer decides to be. Anyway, thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you next time. See ya.